What is up everyone? Today I'll be showcasing a super fun Halloween Cup team with DEDENNE. This team has been doing incredible for me the past couple of days. I gained several hundred points with it, which pushed me up to a new season high rating of 3325. DEDENNE, much like Charjabug, beats water types and dark types, but unlike Charjabug, DEDENNE also beats dragon types and wins the electric mirror, so beats Charjabug, and this makes it an incredible partner with Greninja. Both do have to watch out for grass types like Shadow Victreebel and Whimsicott, so to cover for those I'm running Fortress in the middle, as because of its bug steel typing it can deal with those quite nicely, and I found Fortress to be quite a nice pivot in this meta. If you don't have a Fortress, you could definitely go with Warbottom Trash or Shadow Scizor instead. They might even be better. I just really love Fortress and that's why I chose it. Anyway, let's get into the battle, starting off with a Shadow Scizor lead. This is a pretty fine matchup for DEDENNE as you do in the 0 and 1 shield scenario. Generally, I stay in here and just throw 2 discharges and then let my DEDENNE go down. I'm gonna let this first move go, not expecting them to throw an Iron Head. Generally, they just go for Night Slashes here, because a Night Slash steals a lot. DEDENNE is pretty squishy Pokemon. That's definitely one thing you have to be aware of when you're playing DEDENNE. It is super squishy. It's not like Charjabug, where you're gonna be able to tank these moves quite nicely. No, you're actually gonna take some damage, and if my opponent wants, they can shield and farm me down. I didn't want to allow them to farm me down, so just switching Greninja there. And unfortunately, my opponent responds with the Azumarill, and this is really bad for Greninja. Greninja is quite spammy though, and I am a shield up. So I'm hoping I can get this Azumarill low with some Hydro Cannons, and I'm also hoping I can dip out of this matchup eventually and save my Greninja. That'd be quite nice. They're gonna fire off a move here. I'm definitely gonna shield this Play Rough. Would knock me out at this point. It is a Play Rough. I'm gonna go for another Hydro Cannon, but they are already like 1 away from the next Play Rough. So unless my timer is up, my Greninja is gonna go down. Unfortunately, my timer just barely isn't up, so I will end up getting Play Rough there. Good play by my opponent there, throwing immediately before my timer was up. Now I have to bring in Fortress, and if this Azumarill has Hydro Pump, that's quite an issue, because it'll do quite a bit. Also, they don't allow the farm down here. I would have really liked if they allowed me to farm down their Azu with my Fortress, because that would have made me get to the Earthquake versus the Scizor before they would reach Night Slash. But unfortunately, my opponent's smart there. Bring the Scizor immediately. They bring my Fortress very low with it already, and now out comes a... what is it? Druddigon, and this is kind of problematic as Druddigon was quite spammy. It would outpace me, so I catch the move onto my DEDENNE. This will knock out the DEDENNE, which is great because they don't get any extra farm. I can go for the Earthquake now right before I can get to a potential Aqua Tail. If this knocks out, I am looking pretty good, and it does knock out the Druddigon. Can I outpace the Azumarill now to the Mirror Shot? I can. Mirror Shot is a weak move though, and only neutral on the Fairy Water type. But it does knock out. GG there. That got incredibly close. Alright, this is one of the major benefits of running DEDENNE over Charjabug. It is this Dragalge matchup. I was actually running this team in the past with Charjabug instead of DEDENNE, and Dragalge just owns that Charjabug Greninja core. So that's why I ultimately decided to pivot over to DEDENNE, and it has made Dragalge leads much easier to deal with. They bring out Fortress now. This is actually not that bad for DEDENNE, as I am resisting those bug bites. I decided to just throw 2 discharges and then pivot into my Fortress to farm down theirs. They try to commit to the Earthquake, but a bug bite down right before they get to it. It's just incredible. I can Mirror Shot this Dragalge now. Kind of a risky bait, but I am expecting them to shield it, which they do. No attack drop here, but that's fine. We're gonna go for an Aqua Tail. Should be, I think, 3 away from the next Aqua Tail. So I should be able to outpace the Earthquake just barely. But I tried to time my move, and the animations are a bit weird, so I end up CMP tying, which is just really bad. I needed to throw an Earthquake 1 bug bite before them, and I would have been much better spot. But now I'm forced to CMP. I shield up because I wanted the Earthquake, and they have a Victreebel on the back. This is pretty bad. Victreebel is the core breaker for the dead Greninja, and my Fortress is almost down. Luckily though, I got an attack drop, which will definitely help me out. These Razor Leaves are now doing more damage. I got a couple extra bug bites in probably, which puts the Victreebel deep into the red, and now should be able to just shield my Greninja and Water Shuriken down. Yeah, Acid Spray me though, drop my defense, so I decide I'm just gonna switch out, and now we can Thundershock down the Victreebel. GG. Runerigus. This is a major problem with this team. major, major, major problem. Runerigus in the lead, generally, you're gonna lose. That's just the way it is. This is why I'm thinking a Scizor or Wormadam in the middle might be better than Fortress to cover for this Runerigus. So definitely consider that. But Fortress definitely helps out with like a Greninja in the back as well. So that's why I opted to go for the Fortress myself. But yeah, it's a trade-off, and it's one you should make yourself, also depending on what Pokemon you like more. I really love Fortress, so that's why I'm still sticking with the Fortress. I don't mind losing to a Runerigus lead every once in a while, though they do seem to be getting more common. Yesterday, actually, when I was playing this team the last time, I faced like, I think maybe 6 or 7 Runerigus leads on a day, and it was pretty bad. I think I lost to all but one of them. Yeah, that pretty much sucked. Anyway, another Runerigus lead in this battle. I switch to Fortress. This time my opponent decides to switch out into Charjabug, and I'm down to just flip switch here. We're gonna shield up this move, and we're gonna farm down the Charjabug all the way. If they bring in Runerigus here, I should be able to get to another Earthquake. Put it in a range where I might be able to Water Shuriken down with my Greninja. There's a decent chunk of damage. Not that much though. Runerigus is super, super tanky. Bring in my Greninja. They switch out into Guzzlord, and the Den is fine here. But it's not great. It is definitely not great. A Crunch is going to do quite a bit, to the point where they can likely knock me out in 2 crunches with the Dragon Tails. So I don't feel comfortable here going for a triple play rough. So I do a risky play, I go for a Discharge, do shield it up, that's great. I don't dare to go for another bait, so I'm just going to go for the play rough next. And now, I am thinking they are going to reach double Crunch before I reach my next play rough, or at least Dragon Claw Crunch before I reach my next play rough. So I end up calling the Dragon Claw bait here, which is great. If that was a Crunch, the game would have been over, but luckily it was a Dragon Claw bait. They throw another one to take my shield. I'm expecting them to switch to the Runerigus now to throw a Shadow Ball to knock out my Dedenne. So I catch it on my Greninja, and now I goofed. I honestly, well, I'm just gonna blame it on my stream. I was streaming at the time, and sometimes I just zone out. And I didn't remember anymore that he'd thrown the Dragon Claw already. Or that he'd basically spent all of his energy on my Dedenne already. So I end up undercharging this because I don't want the Guzzlord to farm down my Greninja. However, with the amount of health my Greninja has, as you could see deep into the red, I don't think he would have got enough farm. So I should have just fully charged it, allowed the Guzzlord to farm me down, and then get to the one Thunder Shock to knock out, to get to the play rough. But now, like, I can't even farm it down. I should have, it could have still been a win if I'd done more bubbles on the Night Slash, because then I could have maybe knocked out the Runerigus in one Thunder Shock, the one Thunder Shock I need to get to play rough, and I would have been able to knock out the Guzzlord there. But yeah, unfortunately, just a bit of a misplay, and we lose that match. Alright, next game. We see a Shadow Golbat in the lead. This is kind of iffy, to be honest. Poison Fang from Shadow Golbat does quite a bit. And I think this battle I kind of underestimated the damage. I was like, I'll no-shoot the first one. It's just a Poison Fang. Brings me to the red. And these wing attacks are really doing a good chunk. My opponent tries to catch there, but they are a bit early on the swap. So I don't end up throwing. Generally against Golbat, I just throw at 5 every single time. If they want to catch, they catch. I'm kind of okay with that. I'd rather have him catch a move, and you know, I just take switch advantage. Then having them like decide when shields are used by throwing the Poison Fang before I throw my move. My Fortress is very low now, which is fine, because now the Golbat gets very little farm. I do get to a Mirror Shot, hoping for the attack drop there. Here, Mirror Shot, I think it has a 30% chance to drop the attack, so it's kind of significant, and I do get it there. Go for Discharge immediately. Again, if they catch, that's fine with me. They do shield this up. And out comes Carbink. This is great. This is incredible. This is what you want to see in the backline. I've had so many games where the game was looking like very, very bad. And then they just end up having Carbink in the back, and my Greninja is able to destroy it. Well, I say destroyed. This is not always a good matchup for Greninja. As you can see, these Rock Throws are doing a bunch, and if shields are down, they can Moonblast you. So it's not like incredible, but generally you can definitely win that. So I do really like seeing Carbink in the back with this squad. Greninja finish off the game there. GG. Alright, Azumarill lead. Definitely what you want to see. Out comes Scizor. You should honestly Into Bug, Steel types, you should honestly almost instant switch Greninja. This time I switched too late, so they were already 6 bullet punches before I could get to my Hydro Cannon, which is a potential X-Scissor. I don't want to take the X-Scissor because that knocks me out, so I have to shield. If I'm quicker on the switch here, I can outpace the Scizor. However, the thing I'm afraid of is switching my Greninja into an Escavalier or Wormadam, or no, not a Wormadam, or Fortress. But those are rare switches. Generally, it's gotta be Scizor or Wormadam trash, I found. And if you quick enough to see the fast move your opponent is using, or you can like hear it, that's why I generally play with sound. You can actually hear the bullet punch before you see the animation, and that way you can switch faster than if you were just relying on visuals. So I think for these battles, I forgot to turn off on my sound most of the time, but every time I saw one of these bug steel types coming, I really wish I had my sound on, because that would have helped quite a bit. Anyway, I saved my Greninja there, because I kind of always want to save Greninja if I haven't seen a Runerigus yet. I was still expecting I was still thinking there was going to be a chance there could be a Runerigus in the back, so I made sure to save my Greninja with a Hydro Cannon stored, just in case it was, but it ends up being a Wormadam trash, which is fine. I can just bring in my Greninja now, Hydro Cannon it, take it out, and Fortress is still fine enough versus Azumarill, even if it has the Hydro Pub to knock it out with an Earthquake and some Bug Bites. We're gonna get to one right now. This is gonna be a Hydro Pump, I do believe. No, just an Ice Beam, which makes this even better. Earthquake comes out. This should knock out the Azumarill at this point, and we take another win. GG. Alright, next match. Toxapex. Toxapex lead is pretty annoying. This is the matchup where the Den really falls short compared to like a Charger Bug. But I found you do still have some player. What I generally do is I discharge first. Does a decent chunk of damage versus Toxapex. Already puts in a range where 2 Night Slash from Greninja will knock it out later. Then I switch into Fortress. Generally, I find Toxapex leads don't have great Fortress answers, but this one does. This one has Jellicent, which generally is not something you're gonna see behind Toxapex, to be honest, because that's super weak to like a Charger Bug lead. But this opponent, not afraid of a Charger Bug lead, brings in Jellicent, first my Fortress. As you can see though, Fortress still does kind of decent there. Look how low we've gotten the Jellicent. Pretty nice. Pretty nice. Now I can bring in the Den. Just try to go for a full farm down maybe. No shoot this move, expecting Surf. It is just a Surf, but man, it did a lot. That did a lot. I can farm it all the way down though, but I'm not at double discharge yet, which is unfortunate. Out comes Swalot now, which is crazy. That's actually crazy. Maybe I should have farmed up one more. Oh, I do farm up one more. Oh, I do get there versus Toxapex. Yes, I do get there versus Toxapex. They shield it up though. Bring in my Greninja. Swalot is super bulky. So what I really need at this point is a boost maybe. Oh, and also I should not have shielded that move. I thought that was an obvious Brine bait, but Greninja is pretty squishy. I was expecting that even with Brine they'd be able to fast move me down, but I think I was wrong about that. Just looking at how much health I'm gonna have left after this matchup's over, I really should just no shield that Brine, and if I no shield that Brine, I'm probably fine here. Shield up a Sludge Wave now. Try to go for a farm down, but they're able to switch out. And now I don't have a shield for the Swalot. This Hydro won't knock him out. Sadly, the Swalot is super tanky. I need 2 moves, but they're gonna outpace me. Had I no shield the Brine, my Greninja would be in the red right now, but I have a shield for the Sludge Bomb, and I'd be able to win the game. So I think definitely no shielding the Brine was the win condition there. Alright, Zweilous lead. Out comes Jellicent. This is where you see the Den really shine as a core breaker. You know, Pokemon people don't really prepare for it. Just very good versus that Zweilous, and then pretty good versus Jellicent too. You're gonna see though, like, the Den is super squishy. If my opponent wants, they can actually double shield and hex me down now, which is definitely not ideal, but then I have a Fortress with 2 shields up, and I'm looking pretty good. So my opponent doesn't want to go 2 shields down. Besides, to just let their Jelly go, now that my DEDENNE is almost gone anyway. Out comes Scizor now. This is 7 bullet punches, which could be next Scizor. X-Scissor 6 bullet punches, so I do shoot it up. Out comes Zweilous now. I farm up to 2 moves. The thing I'm afraid of here is the Scizor getting a farm down on my Fortress. and then being able to fire off 2 X-Scissors back to back with my Greninja. So in order to prevent that somewhat at least, I decided to fire up to 2 moves, because sometimes Greninja can win CMP versus Scizor, and then if I at least take a shield with my Fortress versus Scizor, I can just double Night Slash and win the game. Now, don't decide to shoot anything that's wireless, and I don't want to get farmed down by Scizor, so what I do, I stop tapping. I just want to get this Water Shuriken on my Greninja, but unfortunately, I miscalculated, and they actually have a Body Slam here. I can't shield this, because the Scizor will get to an X-Scissor. That was a mistake. I should just Bug Bitten the Twilight down, I guess. Can I still make it to 3 moves, though? It appears I can. The Scizor is already in Night Slash range. They have to shield this, and then I go for another one, get the boost on top, and they just barely got it. Well, with the boost, it's gonna knock out the Scizor very cleanly. GG's right there. That was way closer than it should have been, to be honest, but luckily I still win that game. Jellicent lead, out comes Galvantula. This is actually not great. This Galvantula will be able to debuff me quite a bit. I think versus Charjabug, the Dead is pretty consistently able to win this matchup, like versus a Bug Electric type Pokemon, but versus Galv, it's looking way more iffy. I also have to stay in, I really don't have great answers to Bug Electrics except for the Den. And I'm kind of afraid, since they're running Galvantula, they might also be running Charjabug in the back. And if that's the case, this is looking really, really rough. Also, I need switch advantage here, as getting Fortress on Jellicent would pretty much be game over. So, I have to shield my Den. I'm gonna go for Discharge here, because this should knock out the Galv at this point. They do decide to let it go, so I do get Switch, which is great. Switch and Charjabug now. No, this is bad. I'm so debuffed on the Den that this play rough will do so little. At least I have Switch. I can bring Fortress onto the Charjabug, and then Greninja onto her Jelly. But Charjabug versus Fortress is still kind of dominant for Charjabug, especially with the shield up. Go for Discharge. I'm thinking, since I brought out Fortress versus their Charjabug, and this is not a great matchup, they must expect something weak to Charjabug in the back, though, so they're definitely gonna shield this, right? So go for the Mirror Shot, hoping I get maybe an attack drop. They let it go. They let it go? What? I definitely was not expecting that. If I had Earthquake, I think my Greninja might be able to win the game. But Jellicent is really not that bad versus Greninja when they have a shield up, so I think I still lose, as I would need to hit 3 Night Slashes, which is gonna be 8 Water Shurikens, and they also get to a Surf plus Shadow Ball, which I think is enough versus Greninja. They get to a Surf plus Shadow Ball on 8 hexes, so they would outpace as they get another hex through during one of my Night Slashes, so they outpace to their Shadow Ball Surf before I get the triple Night Slash. So I think I still lose that game. But yeah, that bait call was kind of savage by my opponent. Anyway, this game, Scrafty lead into the Den. Pretty solid for the Den, though not like incredible, because the Den is squishy. I think Scrafty has a lot of play there in 2 shields, as long as they shoot up the correct moves. Like if they call Discharge bait, that's pretty bad for the Den, as you could see. Even non-boosted, if I'll played it quite a bit there. So if they were able to boost up their attack, they can probably just count me down. But yeah, they don't opt to do that. Instead, they decided to switch, was probably the smarter move anyway, because you would have to go 2 shields down as Scrafty, which is definitely not ideal. They're bringing Warmanam now, and this is a great matchup for Greninja if you have shields, which I do. I can just farm up so much extra energy here. Go up to 100. Actually 100 energy. Go for a Night Slash here. This takes about... And now I just hit 2 Hydro Cannons versus Scrafty. They're going to have to use both their shields, and then the Den should be able to play rough it. I get to another Hydro. I might even be able to get to another Hydro if I stay in. No, Greninja's pretty low. Yeah, I would get countered down. Yeah, switch out. Go for the play rough. This is enough to take out several Scrafties. Send them back to where he belongs. Bye-bye. And we win another game. GG. It was also the final battle. Hope you enjoyed today's video. I can definitely recommend the Den and this team, though do proceed with caution, as it is quite a squishy squad, which means it can be kind of difficult to use in some situations. But it is definitely very fun, and it can work, as you just saw. Anyway, thank you very much. See you in the next one. Good luck with your battles, trainers.